Guess who has two thumbs and still has free will? This guy. We have a mission today. Guess what? It's time to play with chalk. We're in front of the local grocery store. I put Canadian in quotations because we're on stolen land. It says, "Don't let the evil gremlins drive your meat robot," because I want to confuse everyone who comes out of this apartment in the morning. Look at this! Save our ocean. I agree! This is so cute! Oh my god. Agreed. If you know, you know. It's a maze! You start here, and you solve it to get to the finish. It would seem someone else has been chalking here. Mighty fine handiwork indeed. Beautiful, beautiful. That looks like puke. I'm getting chalk all over me. A summer haiku. The sun makes me hot. Mosquitoes eat me alive. But I like to swim. This one is a scientist who's also an octopus who's trying to figure out science and is really confused. Free Palestine. Save our planet. It's true. Hello, everybody. Did everybody do their homework? I sure did. Okay, so last week we covered a lot of unknowns. I talked about my theory of negative and information. Today, we're talking about a little something called math. Now, I'm sure you've all heard of math, because you probably all had to do math while you were in school. Something you should know about me, before I continue to talk about math, is I suck at math. I am so bad at math. Since I was little, it has been like my least favorite subject. Me and numbers just have a hard time communicating with each other. But I have an understanding of what it is. I am not about to do math equations for you. But we can talk about math equations without actually having to do them. So when I ask you what is math, you probably might think math is adding and subtracting and multiplying and numbers and angles and stuff, equations, calculating things. And those are all things you can do using math, but what is math? Math is funny because it's both made up, we've conceived it, we've created it so that we can have a method for understanding the world around us, but it's also something that's always been there. Everything is math. Literally everything is math. From stars to water to the particles that make up your body to literally everything. Everything, everything, everything. So the real question with math is math something we invented to understand reality, or is math the inherent nature of reality and we're just learning about it? These are the questions. The best way I can describe my understanding of math is 2 words. The pattern. Math is just patterns. Everything, ever, is just a pattern of some kind. But math is what we use to understand the patterns, to predict the patterns, to use one pattern to find out the way of another pattern. Math is kind of magical in a lot of really cool ways because you can find out things that you would have no way of knowing by just doing the math. There's a couple equations in particular that are very, very, very relevant because they are found consistently and repeatedly throughout nature. One of them is called the Fibonacci sequence, which, if you don't know what that is, it's this. It's a spiral. This is my first song I released on Spotify, by the way. It's actually really simple. Basically what you do is you continually add the last 2 numbers of the sequence. So you start with 1, and then you add 1 plus 1, because that's all you have, which is 2. And then your most recent numbers are 2 and 1. So you add those together and get 3. Then your most recent numbers are 3 and 2. So you add those together to get 5. And so on and so on. So what that does is it creates this cool spiral thing. And the cool thing about the spiral is you can find it literally everywhere. It's in pine cones, it's in flowers, it's in shells, it's in fish, it's in our bodies, it's in everything. The other one is pi. I'm sure you've all heard about pi. 3.14159, whatever, blah 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 blah. Goes on forever. Because pi is essentially the number that makes up a circle, it's also in everything. 'Cause circles are in everything. A long, 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 long time ago in ancient Mesopotamia, humans learned that they could count stuff. And then ancient Egypt happened, and they kind of went crazy with it. And then the ancient Greeks went even crazier with it. And then a bunch of physicists were like, wait a second, math is everything! And then they built a bunch of buildings, and they invented a bunch of stuff. They invented the radio, they invented machinery, they invented phones, and now we're here. And we still don't know what math is! We know how it works, we know what it can do, but we still don't know why it's what makes up everything. We still don't know why it seems to be that the inherent nature of the universe is mathematical. Everything you look at is math. Literally everything. Here's the thing with that though, is I would argue math is more about the relationships between quantities or things that we assign meaning and how those relationships affect other relationships of other things and so on, than it is about actual numbers with inherent meaning. I think math is more just cause and effect. It's more, if this is true, this also has to be true because math says so, than it is, you know, finding the answer. Math is basically the glue that holds together everything positive. Everything that exists in the positive space is held together by the math that keeps it there. Because math is true. You can't argue with math. There's no room for interpretation. Math is math. The math is the math. 1 plus 1 equals 2. no matter what. It's beautiful, it's mesmerizing, it's fascinating. I wish I knew it better. It's one of the wonders of the world. It's one of the wonders of the universe. Here's the thing though. Math can't math itself. An equation can't solve itself. It has to be solved by something. Math is the truth of the cause and effect of things. It's the truth of the building blocks of substance that makes up everything. It can be used to measure every movement ever made, every change that ever happened. But math is not the thing that makes those things happen in the first place. Math is the solutions of everything that already is. Math is the inarguable truth of everything. That math can't actually get there on its own. Something has to put it there. There's the math of how many pages make up this book, but it didn't start like that. It started as a tree. And before it was a tree, it was dirt. And before it was that, it was stardust. And before it was that, no one knows. But it doesn't just change on its own. Changes need to happen in order for there to be things to have math about. It's kind of similar to the whole positive-negative conundrum. Math is positive. Math is the truth of everything that exists. Math can calculate the changes that happen, but it can't calculate why the change happens in the first place. And math can't exist without change. There is not one thing in this world, in the universe, that got here by simply existing. Math is stiff. Math can't move. Math is true. Math is math. There's no arguing with it. But that's all it is. 1 + 1 = 2. But who's adding the one and the other one? So math has this frenemy named chaos. Chaos is the one who can do changes. Chaos is the one who can move. But we'll talk more about that next week. For now, we're just gonna add, I think it's gonna go, that seems right. So far, we've got positive, we've got negative, we've got math, and next week we're gonna talk about chaos. Until then, thanks for watching, and never stop asking questions!
I tried to make it look like an alien that got run over by this car, but it kind of just looks like a guy that got run over by the car. I'm just gonna leave that there.